And the big story right now is, of course, all the DC stuff because James Gunn is talking about Superman right now. He's on the press tour. So he's getting tons of questions and he's answering a bunch of stuff. So the question is from a lot of people, what's going on with Robert Pattinson? What's going on with him in the DCU? There's some answers to it. Here is the said article. Gunn is responding to "Are Pats bad?" in DCU talk. I hope that's never brought up ever again. Our Pats, I don't like the abbreviation stuff. I hate it. But that's not what he said. That's what I said. One of the biggest problems with the argument that franchises will only succeed if they listen to the fans is that fans are rarely in full agreement regarding what they want. Isn't that the truth? As Star Wars and Star Trek have aptly shown in recent years, fans get different things out of different incarnations of beloved IP. Some have right ideas about what something should be and rail against those that don't fit the mold. Others are more flexible and open to enjoying and debating the value of different interpretations. On top of that, you get people trying to manipulate the discussion for their own personal or political agendas. Good case in point has popped up today over on DC Studios chief James Gunn's Threads feed. The Superman director has long maintained a stance that the new DC universe seen in upcoming works like Superman, Supergirl is separate from the universes seen in other DC adaptations like the Matt Reeves, the Batman films, and tie-in Penguin series. Gunn's DCU has yet to offer a good look at its new take on Batman. Creature Commandos offered the briefest of teases, but it's expected that his version will include not just Bruce Wayne, but his son Damian Wayne and potentially other Bat family members, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, etc. That's quite different to Robert Pattinson's dark, loner, and early incarnation of the character, one whose world seems very different to the world glimpsed in Superman. Nonetheless, a segment of the fandom has been pushing the RPAT's version of Batman to become the DCU's Batman. One fan told Gunn today that all DC fans want the Pattinson version to join the DCU, to which Gunn responded, all would seem to be pushing it. Indeed, going by the responses, most appear to be against Robert Pattinson's Batman in the DCU. Even as some are for it, the responses are most courteous, but some are outright hostile. Recently, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav stated that the four main characters of the DCU, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, are key to the future of DC Studios. There hasn't been an update on the DCU Batman project in some time, while Reeves' The Batman Part 2 still hasn't submitted its final script, said Gunn the other day. Okay, so that being said, there's a lot there, obviously, and I'm curious what John Roca would think about that. Now, the question is, would John Roca be here? Yeah, there he is.
There I am.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
A fresh cut. I'm ready to go.
It's good. So obviously you heard me reading that article there. Now, I will say,
yes,
I'm with Gunn on. You get that all the time. People, everybody wants it.
Of course,
a lot of people want it. A lot of people want it.
Sure.
You lead with that. You lead with a lot of people. Look, I see it as it seems like a lot of people want it all. You can't speak this anytime everyone says that. I've even with people that we work with, like, oh, everybody's saying it. No, not everybody. Everybody isn't saying it. Everybody is everybody.
Right.
It's like you say there are some people who.
Right.
And when you say that, he's right to say, well, I don't know if all is correct.
Yeah.
And that night might not be where he's going.
Right.
He's still. I don't think, John, honestly, they know yet what to do with Pattinson.
100%.
Warm weather hits suddenly. I'm juggling vacations. There's visitors, zero routine. Hydrow brings me back to that structure so I can get quick, efficient workouts that keep me feeling grounded no matter what my calendar looks like. So for Hydrow, if you didn't know, I've been telling you guys, I've been going and working out 4 days a week, but I need other things sometimes when I can't get to the gym. And I've been really loving Hydrow. Because one thing that I love, you never get bored. Hydrow's got tons of workouts with actual Olympians, and they're filmed in these gorgeous outdoor spots all over the world. It makes it way easier to stay motivated. Doesn't matter if you're training hard or just trying to stay active. Hydrow really meets you where you're at. It's low impact, so it's easy on your joints, but still gives you that perfect mix of strength and cardio. If you're on the fence, there's a free shipping, 30-day risk-free trial, and Hydrow offers a full year warranty. Honestly, no pressure. Just try it and see how it feels. Getting a good sweat used to mean hours in the gym. Hydrow, you can do it all at home on my schedule, 20 minutes. Rowing on my Hydrow gets me that full body workout without ever having to leave my house. It's so easy. I have it set up now. I was so excited when I got it, and it really does. You feel like you can't even describe how amazing it is to hit all of these spots. So you can skip the gym, not the workout. Stay on track with Hydrow. For a limited time, go to hydrow.com and use the code Kristian to save up to $470 off your Hydrow. HYDROW.com. Use that code Kristian. Save up to $475. Hydrow.com. Use the code Kristian. Right?
If you take out of this article anything, it's that they don't know what they're going to do with Pattinson, what they're going to do with Batman. He keeps mentioning this Batman writer that he's working with. Who is this Batman writer that he's working with? What are they coming up with? What are they coming to terms with? Who is really working on this stuff? And what are their plans? Because as I said a year ago, Muschietti is off of this thing. So they don't even know who's going to direct it, right? And if it's Brave and the Bold or not. And he said, I don't even know if they're going to call it Brave and the Bold anymore, which tells you right off the bat that even he's not sure what he's doing with his Batman. And he clarified that he's not going to go forward with a Batman that will be a little campy, which is what people were afraid of. So he's addressing some of the concerns, but everything is still up in the air about the whole thing. So yeah, they have no idea 100%. They have ideas, but they don't have a concrete idea of what they want to do right now because of all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes.
And I also think that that's the right call.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see right now. Hey man, if you're DC and you're James Gunn, you're riding high. The ticket sales are great. The buzz is really good on the last trailer.
Yeah,
people are loving what's happened. There's like pun intended, there's a lot of hope right now in this Superman film because people are pumped for it. It's like there's the most excitement you've seen maybe ever for a Superman movie. Maybe ever. For when it comes to because the reason why even look, I'm a Donner guy. I love Donner 1, Donner 2. You didn't have social media back then. You didn't have the kind of hype machine that you could put towards. There wasn't that much on the shoulders. This thing is carrying a lot, and Gunn and other people involved seem to know what they want to do, how they want to portray this version of Superman, and people are responding to it.
Yeah.
And so if you're James Gunn, you're going, okay, look, I put out this trailer. Let's see how the movie does. I have an idea of where I want to go now with Batman, but I don't know yet. The flip side is, if you're James Gunn, you also got to look and say, people really dig this Matt Reeves stuff.
Yeah.
So he's really not in an easy position here.
Yeah.
Because I think that's why I said I don't think they know what they're going to do, because I think there could be a world where he goes, okay, look, I just made almost $1 billion or $1 billion with Superman. We're going to let this thing fly with Reeves. We're going to let it go. We're also going to do our Batman also, and we'll let it fly.
But this is the problem, isn't it? When he talks so much, there is so much there to criticize or to say, well, you said this, and you can't always just get away with, well, people change their minds. You can't just always get away with that, right? The fact that you came out so strongly in that announcement, and you said, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and this is going to separate us. I think you're getting snake bit by all of that, because less than half of that stuff that he first announced is probably going to happen. And now he's already changing his tune on Brave and the Bold by talking about how it might not even be called that. So they might not even be making a Brave and the Bold movie. So maybe a completely different movie. So I understand you want to keep your options open. Of course, that's smart. Of course. Don't just come out and say everything and then go after the fans and be like, people who are criticizing Matt Reeves are mean. They're being mean. Come on, man. There's a vacuum here and you're not telling the full truth. And people don't know they're being mean because you're not letting them know what the hell's going on behind the scenes with Matt Reeves. Just this kind of rumored idea of stuff that's going on to one of his children or himself or his wife, or we don't know what it is. Everybody's just guessing, speculating. And so we don't know what it is. And so to me, I think there's a little bit where he's playing the political game and he's for himself, and he's not like telling us the full truth. He's trying
to kind of have to, though. Isn't that the tricky part of being the head of this thing? Don't you have to play politics? You know,
Feige doesn't shame anybody. Feige doesn't step on people. Feige doesn't call Feige handles it completely differently than
fan-wise, you mean?
Yeah, fan wise, yeah. Because I mean, he's saying people are being mean. It's like, no,
Yeah.
people are speculating because they don't know what the hell's going on, and they
Feige
won't
also
give
is not, and for probably better, but Feige's not very active on social media. You know, James Gunn is very active on social media.
That's my point. Yeah.
There's a lot. We've talked about it. There are times when you go, you know, look, he's really involved. He's really talking to the fans, and that's a good thing. And then
Yes.
there's other times you're like, yeah, I don't know, because I say this too, and not just because Coy is on the show.
Mm.
Why are you letting all this information out on Threads? Why don't you have a DC show? Let it out there. Have conversation. Have things. Look, we're gonna break news.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have this DC show that we're doing.
Look at the numbers. It's nowhere near the platform that show has. Nowhere near the platform that social media has.
But it could be.
Possibly, but
You have
clearly
James Gunn, dude, and you just clip that out. You're bringing attention.
Sure. I don't disagree with you in terms of a producing angle point of view. You're absolutely right. They should be using that more, but I guess James figures he has a bigger platform on his own rather than lending his stature to that show to build that show up. Because how much does he make off of that?
Guy.
I know. Look, you're preaching to the choir. It makes sense, but I think James looks at it. I think James sees himself as a singular entity, right? And he is at DC, but he is not DC. It was two different things. Feige is Marvel. He is absolutely Marvel. Gunn is still new in this thing.
He's got to grow into it. He's got to grow.
Gunn is doing this for 17 years. Then Gunn is DC, right? But not at this point.
So. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and he's and like that's why I give him leeway, because he's really learning on the job, and he hasn't even had his first big release out yet. And the first big release that he does have, speaking of Marvel and DC, and there's precedent. There's other things that have come before, so he's got that to lean on, but. Iron Man did not have this kind of hype going in. Again, I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot of things going into it. He's got a lot of hype behind it, and he's got a lot of pressure on him. So I do think I think he's doing a lot right. I do. I think he's doing a lot right.
I don't disagree with you. I agree. He is. Yeah.
So there just needs to be now what happens when this movie comes out, and then the Batman decisions, because they got to lean on these big characters,
right?
And that will lead into our second story. But before we do that, I want to make sure that people click on the Clips channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Clips channel, because we release all of these stories on the channel. So make sure you do that. Subscribe there. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. Right now we're at 10. So hopefully we're jumping.